Let's show you how to easily pull in a fixture schedule into OASIS, and this includes both desktop and online. This is the fixture schedule I use. It's just a PDF that I have out there, and a pretty decent one actually. This I've seen a lot of other cases where they're really small and confusing, but this is about as good as it gets, really. But so let's try it. So in desktop, there's not as many features as far as working with the lighting schedule, but they are there. And the main thing is to save you a little bit of time as far as typing things in. So I'll take my fixture schedule, I'll pull it into the bill of material here, and it'll ask, do I want to crop it or not? What I typically do is I just say do it and let it go, but you can crop it, and what that does is if you have a really confusing one where there's a lot of stuff turned and there's sometimes they don't call it lighting schedule, they'll call it other things, or they'll have controls mixed in with gear, mixes in with lighting schedule, and you just want one part of it. That'll require a crop. So I'll kind of skip that for right now. You'll figure it out. You're just going to highlight what you want to pull in. So I'll just say do it. Now when desktop is running, working with an LLM, you'll actually have on your main screen a little thing that says translating document. You can minimize this screen. We really don't recommend closing it, but the main thing is you can go do other things in the system while it's processing. You don't have to wait for it to complete. So what's happening right now is it actually took the PDF, it sent it over to the large language model. We use OpenAI, and it'll go ahead and convert that over to everything it can to pull it over. Now, it will attempt to do a little bit of a cross. It's going to do a light cross in desktop. The online version is much better set up as far as doing crosses and all of the process on that. I won't get too deep into that today. So while it's working over there, I'll go ahead and kick off the online version too, and it works kind of the same way. The main thing is I start with the bill of material, and I'll come back over in a second, but we'll go ahead and kick it off here. And I'll just do a drag and drop just like I did before. The only difference between desktop and online is we do split out the pricing updates from the factories or a rep, or basically if you have a quote with pricing on it versus the bill of material. Bill of material, we're assuming that you're either going to do a cross or you're doing a takeoff or something like that and really starting the process. Where pricing, you're just trying to overlay maybe one price on top of some more, the rest of the bill of material. So I'll go ahead and pull that in. You do get this same area where you're able to enable crop. This is basically what we have over on the desktop version. I skipped it. And that allows you to zoom in on the lighting fixture schedule. Now, one thing you can do is update the specifier information, import the bill of material, and decide whether you want to do a cross or not. Just uncheck what you don't want it to do. So in some cases, we'll have individuals out there that will have people that will just pull in the schedule, and all they want to do is update the specifiers. That's it. They already have the bill of material because they own the spec, if you will, and they're just trying to update because someone got added to the job. So neat little idea there. In this case, I'll just have it do everything. So I'll just say evaluate, and it'll run off and go do its work. While it's running, you'll have this little shimmering effect over here, and that just says it's processing that request with the LLM. All right, let's go back to desktop here. And at this point, you end up with a import, just like you would with a quote request or anything else. It's a pretty basic import when it comes to desktop, but it works. Main thing is I'll do an import. It says, hey, make sure everything's looked the same. And here we go. With this information now, let's go ahead and just do the import. And we have the quantity, the fixture type, and the catalog number that's in here. Again, if it's yours, you're ready to go. If not, you may have to cross it and do the other process in there. Again, online setup a little bit better for that. And that's pretty much all you have, all these little details in the system. And that's it as far as the desktop version goes. Okay, now looks like online is complete. Let's go back over here and let me go and do a refresh on this. Here's my same bill of material. Now, it does pretty much the same thing over here automatically. Again, it assumes we're pulling it in anyway, so we don't have the O2O pop up with the acceptance. It just says I'm going to pull it straight in. But notice it also did some crossing here. So I started out, if we look again at that bill of material over here, it started out with some ALW products, but I don't represent ALW. So I went ahead and did some crossing over here for focal point. I'm not going to show too much on Folio, but I could actually go and train the system that says, hey, I don't want to go from ALW to focal point. Maybe I want to go to ALW to light control or something like that. And the system will start learning that as you go. But anyway, that's a deeper conversation. My main thing for today is show you how to import data. And there's another detail I want you to understand when you import data, especially with the online version on a crosshair. All the other information is still here because you need to know where you started from. And if I go back into the preferences and add in the spec columns, so there's spec and all these other spec columns out here, or in my case, I just simply saved a layout that's called the spec or a crossover layout. And what I like about that is now I can see the spec brand, the brand it's spec to, the spec catalog number, and the spec notes. By the way, this is on this quote. You can identify whether you're approved or not on this particular cross, which is kind of nice. And then you can go through the rest of the process as far as recrossing it. Also in here are the spec notes, and it identifies more information on here that you might use to actually identify if this is a good cross or whatever in there. So, or help you with the crossing process. As far as folio, at this point, you can just go ahead and click on the select process. It'll go ahead and start identifying seam, or I can go and identify other brands I want, pull that in using, I'll show you real quick, light control maybe, and let me start with this. Just see what they have in here. So I'll just pick the first thing that shows up here just to do a simple little cross. And I can do the build project. This product builder is real nice as well. So I can go through and just identify all the pieces that are in here just real quick. And so that'll be the feet that I'll need in here on that one. I think it's an 8-footer on that one, 3 inches or whatever it is I want to do. Keep pulling all the details. And once I end up with a full catalog number that meets my needs, I can pull it into my project. So finish that out. I don't really need that. Pull that out, hit import, and I have a catalog number. The other thing that's nice about this is it will start remembering all these as we go forward on it. And as you end up with the same item out here for ALW, and I think it's, I never get these quite right, so I'm going to just do a copy paste in here. And sure enough, it knows how to cross it for the next time. So might want to get your links correct on that one as well. So there you have it. How to pull data quickly and easily inside of OASIS using a basically lighting schedule out here, and then be able to use either desktop to pull the data in and process it, or in this case, actually use online to process it and cross it as well.